Behind me is one of my miniature shelves that I use to store minis in. And I've got a bit of a problem. You see, the problem is this shelf is filled with unpainted minis. I've got some painted stuff right over there, but there's like so many minis here that are just primed. And every time I start a new video for the channel, I get distracted by like shiny new stuff, and then some of this inevitably gets left behind. So for example, I got the STLs for the long snouts, and I painted one of them, and I'm really happy with how I painted that. But then I've got all of these other ones that are just primed, and they're just in my shelf now. I work Mondays and Tuesdays, and then Thursdays and Fridays. So the only days on which I can do stuff for the channel are Wednesdays, and then a little bit of my weekend if I'm not doing anything else, like playing D&D or meeting other people or actually playing any of the games that I built these minis for. I don't have that much time, and so painting one miniature to the best of my abilities sometimes is all I can do in a given week. And so I'll think, well, I've painted one long snout orc, so I don't know if people will enjoy like another video painting those because I've basically shown it all. But then what ends up happening is I have 6 long snouts that just stay in my shelf unpainted. And it's been going on for quite a while now, exactly like that. And that leads to like, all of this is basically everything I need to paint to get Cursed City done and play like a fully painted game of Cursed City. That's not that much. And then I recently bought all of these amazing sort of wild animals and beasts for Warcry that I really like and I want to do something with. And all of this stuff is stuff that I was gonna paint at some point, but the channel has sort of like crept in and made it so I don't work on this stuff. I went to a local store recently and I picked up these guys. It's like a really cool big giant rat and a really cool hobgoblin captain, which reminds me I have the Dominion box with all of the hobgoblins in there. And then I found this really cool sort of muckman. He's tiny, he's like a chud, and I want to paint him too. Yeah, so all of this is like stuff that usually I wouldn't really consider doing on the channel because I've been scared that those videos might not get the views compared to like a video that is like something super novel or like a painting technique or it's like nicely packaged. But I've been thinking, and I don't think I want to just be doing videos that I think will perform well on YouTube. I'd like to keep making videos for the channel for a long time. And so I looked at the shelf and I realized if I keep going like this, these will never get painted. I'll never get around to them because there will always be something more exciting around the corner, something that I could be doing right now that I'm like convinced will get a lot of views or is like prime YouTube material, right? But this channel is supposed to be me showing my authentic hobby and what I'm doing and sort of what I'm excited by or like what I want to be doing. For me to keep doing this for a long time, which I'd really like to, I gotta sort of shift gears a little bit and just work on what I want to work on, and that's the videos you'll get. So I know some of you are really into like all of the painting stuff and you don't care what I paint and you don't need like fancy flashy unboxings or like a new game recommendation every week, and those will still be here. I'll still do those whenever they come up, but for now, just to feel a little bit better about myself and about my hobby, I want to focus on getting all of this stuff painted. So that's our quest. We did the turnip army, and the next Wightstar quest is getting my backlog from this shelf painted. And this is just stuff that's primed. I've got like so many more models in there. I've got models down there that I had recently forgotten about that I just rediscovered. I've got so many miniatures up in these boxes, and these are all on sprues. So like we gotta start putting a dent in all of this, or I'm gonna go insane. I really sincerely hope that you're on board with that and you're along for the ride, because it's gonna be chill, it's gonna be cozy. We're gonna just go through all of this stuff and get it all painted. And I think it'll feel really nice. I think it'll be good. It'll be good for me, at least. It'll be good for us. It'll be good for you and for me. All right? Just trust. Trust, it'll be good. I've had 2 dogs on my painting desk for the longest time today we're gonna paint those. I've actually lied to you. They're already painted. They're right over there. You can see them right now, but I'm not gonna show you yet. Because I had so much fun painting these, and I'm excited to show you some of the stuff that I did with them. As you can see, they're already primed and even base coated, and I've applied one layer of just a simple shade for each of them. And then the first step is going back in and taking that initial color, in this case for this lighter dog, a sort of tan color. This is Zendri Dust. It's kind of like a sandy beige. And I use this color to just tidy up that wash because it's left a little bit of an uneven surface and I want to get those sort of midtones reestablished. And then I take a slightly lighter color and I meticulously edge highlight all of the surfaces. And this is a very sort of cartoony look, and you can see it's very pronounced and exaggerated. And this is because later on we'll go back in and we'll sort of punch those back a little bit and blend them back in. And so going very exaggerated right now will help me define those forms. And you can see right now, this is where I go back in with a glaze. And I just glaze that initial color back over the top. And I'd only do this on the top facing surfaces. So anything that would be facing the sunlight essentially gets this glaze. And that helps to sort of unify all the previous colors, the shade and the midtone and the highlight, and it moves all of those towards each other, smoothing them out. It also has the added benefit of making him darker on top and lighter on the bottom, which is exactly what I want because this is sort of what I was going for. A lot of animals will have what's called counter shading, where they'll be dark on the top and light on the bottom. And so the reference pictures I looked at for these dogs, they had that same counter shading, and so I wanted to replicate that. And then once everything is smoothed out like this, you can go back in and do some very fine edge highlights again, but this time more selectively, only on like little sharp points. And that makes your smooth blends really crisp. If you want your painting to look really professional, my number one tip would be to master sort of having sharp edges that then taper off into soft, smooth blends. I think that's really what makes your painting look like sculptural rendering. Now the muzzle and the ears got a brown wash, and this sort of harness that this dog is wearing gets base coated in just pure black. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a contrast here. So we've got very warm tones on the body of the dog. And so for the harness, I'm introducing some cooler tones. And this is just one bit of contrast that you can do. We've got a value contrast with dark and light, and now we've got a temperature contrast. You can also do like a hue contrast, where like, for example, red and green are opposite each other on the color wheel, so they'll contrast nicely. And keeping those things in mind will really help you make a good looking mini. Once I had those blue paints on my palette for the darker color, I used those to highlight the black dog as well. Because the black dog, if you look at it in like daylight, which is quite cold, it's like 5,000 Kelvin, maybe like 6,000, you'll see that it reflects the blue sky and the cold light. And so the black dog will start to look kind of bluish, and that's what I was trying to imitate by introducing those same colors. There's another added benefit to that, and that's that you don't need to switch a lot of paints, right? When you're painting two minis at the same time, and you can reuse some of the paints you use on one mini to use them on the other mini. That's really nice and saves you a ton of hassle and speeds up the painting process. And in the end, it'll make them both look cohesive and sort of like they belong in the same world together. As you can see on this dog as well, I'm really doing like super exaggerated highlights. Like it looks like this dog is made of like sort of like metal, but now you can see after I've done that glazing step that we did on the other dog as well, this time going from dark to light up top, you can see how smooth those sort of initial harsh edge highlights now look. And this is the point where I then go back in and I introduce some more deliberate lines and brush strokes to make it look a little bit more painterly. And this is all without the airbrush. This is just glazing and deliberate blending. And it's very easy to do this. You just have to be patient and learn the theory behind it, which is why I want to share this with you, so you can learn to start thinking about how you're painting. Doing these eyes to give them a little bit of life, and then adding a little bit of sheen on the nose here will really help those details stand out. And the black dog has like this huge scar across his face, and I added a little bit of purple in there for a little bit of a hue contrast. So we've got 3 types of contrast going on already with that one dog. Now highlighting the brown parts of the ears and the muzzle is just very, very simple. 2 highlights, and I use the same colors once again on the collar of the other dog. So here too we have a temperature contrast of a warm brown and a cold blue. And there's also like a slight red in the brown. And so you can see I'm using the same colors to highlight both of these, the collar and these parts on the tan dog. This dog kind of looks like a baked bread. Super cute. The last thing to do is paint all of the metal, and I'll show you all of the beautiful beauty shots I took in just a little bit here. If my video views are gonna tank as a result of me not chasing the algorithm as much, one way for you to help keep this channel going is to sign up for a YouTube membership. It's super easy. The link is in this video's description. You just sign up and you can choose which tier you want to subscribe to. There's different levels where you pay different amounts. Each month you can, for the price of a coffee, help to support this channel, and you get a ton of perks in return. You get like custom emojis to use on YouTube. You get like a cool members badge that changes the longer you stay subscribed. You get access to the exclusive Discord where we all hang out and we talk about our hobby and share some inspirational stuff. And of course you get members exclusive videos. I try to upload one of them every month just for members, and they're like hours long videos. So if you've got the cash and you like what I'm doing, I would really appreciate it if you signed up for a membership. All right, back to the video. I'm really hoping you are on board with this new quest. I'm actually really excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun just getting stuff painted and sort of reconnecting with my pre-YouTube hobby and working through that backlog. I know all of you have got a backlog just like that. So maybe it's inspiring. As a YouTuber, you have to kind of like decide on like how clickbait do you go? How many sponsorships do you take on? When do you say no? How viral do you want your videos to go, right? I think there's a lot of things I could do to my videos to make them have like a broader mass appeal. I could put like Games Workshop and Warhammer into more of my YouTube titles. I could design my thumbnails to be more easily parsed and like a little bit more flashy. I could do videos where I like try stuff from Temu, right? Or like cheap products and compare them. A top 15 Warhammer contenders. There's all sorts of things that work well with the algorithm, but that's not me. That's just not me. And I don't want to be doing that. And so, yeah, there's lots of these decisions as a content creator. I'm not saying there's anything necessarily wrong with making those kind of videos, right? You got to do what you got to do, get that bag. If people are watching it and people are enjoying it and you're not hurting anyone, then who am I to say that's not what you should be doing with your time and with your channel, right? That's your decision. But for me personally, I want to keep it real and authentic, and I just want to be showing you what I'm working on and what I enjoy working on and share my honest thoughts. And when I'm painting stuff, I like to share the techniques and my thoughts and my struggles. I always think back to myself a few years ago when I got started on this journey. I think back to the type of content that I would have liked to see. And I tried to make the kind of videos that would have helped me back then, that would have helped me gain more confidence in my abilities and try more stuff, but also showed me like which brands and which products and which techniques are worth pursuing, right? And which ones maybe to steer clear of. You won't see me chasing trends like doing non-metallic metal and OSR just because they're popular, or like teaching you slap chop. I've got specific tastes in miniatures, and that's the kind of stuff that you'll see here on this channel. And so I just hope that you're sort of along for the ride because you enjoy that vibe. I'm making a promise to myself and to you that I'm not gonna let the YouTube algorithm dictate what kind of videos I want to be filming. And so even if the next 10 videos end up getting like shit views and really tanking, I'm gonna do my best to try to stick with it. Because at the end of the day, I want that shelf to not be full of gray plastic anymore. And I wanna show you how that's done, how to get through your backlog. Maybe that's this video's title. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm excited, I'm invigorated again. I wanna keep going and just be painting for the fun of it. This is gonna be good. See you in the next one.